Barry. Look at that guy. Think about Z. That tongue has been in your mouth.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrifying.
I think today probably would have been the perfect day to put him in the chair because I haven't cleaned my room yet. So
That's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it is. But
he's just sitting there in the chair.
One of these days, guys. One of these days, it's gonna happen.
Is that the Raven shirt I got you?
Yeah, it is. It's a little chilly here today, so
it's a little chilly. So that means it's probably 90 degrees.
Yeah. Well, I think it's let's take a look. It is 60 degrees.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take that.
Yeah, 60 degrees and cloudy. So
I mean, we're still getting snow. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is episode 6 of Who Are These Guys? And as you see, freaking Pinhead over here, and you got me, the classy Big N, leader of the show.
Yep.
Think about it, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have a podcast.
Yeah, you're right.
You wouldn't have a Twitch stream either.
Yep, I wouldn't even be alive. Yeah.
Never forget what Al said. If it wasn't for Donnie, there'd be no Disney.
Yeah. Oh, I'll never forget that. Oh man. Oh, if it's not for Donnie, we wouldn't have the PS5.
No, we would not. But it's like, no, that guy's going to be buying bars in a couple days.
I was trying to do some research on it. I couldn't even find anything. I like, what were you even looking at?
Yeah, he has like his own social media app thing, and he posted on there that he's gonna get arrested on Tuesday, and for people to have protests and stuff like that. A lot of people think this is gonna help him win the election in 2024.
Our country is just a disaster.
Man, you can't write it.
Yeah, you really can't. You really can't. And God,
wouldn't that be something to say? Our president was buying bars.
Oh man. I mean,
DeSantis.
and yeah, DeSantis. Yeah, even that guy's going way downhill.
I know. Z, Florida's still thriving.
Yeah, well, when you combine him with the Disney cold, it's not exactly a good combination.
Yeah, well, what color Gator am I drinking?
I think it was purple. I can't tell. This guy's freaking connection. This guy's connection is terrible today. So,
why?
I apologize. You keep lagging. You're like your screen keeps glitching. You're good now. So, if N has his episodes, he has Dish Network as your internet provider.
Yeah, Dish Network. Xfinity Z, it's garbage. Xfinity.
Yeah. So, if we have any issues with the connection, we do apologize ahead of time. But
yes, we do.
How we doing today, and how we doing today?
We're not we're not doing too bad. Feel like I've been just absolutely exhausted. I feel like it's been go the last 2 weeks. But not too bad here. Not too bad. We're gonna do a show for about 45, maybe 50 minutes or so. Actually, we're redoing the show because one, we did record this episode for free agency, but it was actually the beginning of free agency. Number one. Number two, I couldn't really find any time to export the video to an MP4 file, get it uploaded to YouTube in time. So Z and I decided disregard it. We're just gonna make a whole clean episode 6, and we're just gonna talk about all free agency because really, it's pretty much week 2 now, free agency, pretty much. So we're just gonna just talk all about it, pretty much, instead of how we previously planned on doing it. But Z, how's your day going?
It's going fine, then. It's going fine. So, something I've been trying to teach you, so you stop being so tired. And you got to build a work ethic. You got to build a consistent schedule. You got to get out a little bit. You got to eat some breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
I know it looks like you literally just woke up about an hour ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to start at some point and being an adult, because you're about to turn 25 years old. So,
yeah, you're right. Z, not an adult. I haven't worked 3 jobs all at one time. I know everything's given to you on a silver platter. I know you don't pay a dime there.
So how about you turn to your left end, right where that mirror is, and just look at the man you are.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm proud of it. Jesus is proud of it. I know for you on on your behalf, or on your behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys watch this guy's stream, let's just say that he's not who he is as he is live streaming, or as he is here on the podcast. So
yeah, whatever that means.
Absolutely different person.
Well, we had a good time last night on the stream. Right down below. I think it's right here. I think that's where Ed puts it. We had a good time last night streaming Hogwarts. But yeah, I'm doing good, Ed. I'm doing good. We've been working.
I woke up at 9 o'clock, and right as he got out of bed, ate breakfast and stuffed his mouth with French toast and eggs and toast and cereal, cinnamon roll.
You're the only.
I gotta have 3,500 calories each day.
You're the only person in the world that,
Z, if you're not hungry, don't eat.
Yep.
Don't eat. You're freaking forcing yourself to eat every second.
Yep.
And there's no improvement.
I got nothing to say to that. Because
McDonald's drive-through, Chick-fil-A
here we go.
drive-throughs.
I can't say anything, guys. I can't say anything.
Miami Grill.
Haven't been there since you were here.
Hot dogs. Diet Pepsis.
Diet Pepsi.
I have the picture.
Yeah, well, let's see it.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I know exactly.
This guy thinks he's the biggest health fanatic on this planet, but yet if you actually knew what this guy ate, this pretty much what he eats. Hold on one second. This pretty much what he eats right here. If you guys could see this, hold on.
All that matters is my body feels great, and and
that's pretty much what he eats right there, ladies and gentlemen. Shoves his mouth with hot dogs. He is a hot dog.
Why don't you show Danielle that
picture?
Why don't you show Danielle in that photo?
Yeah, there's D right there. Look at that.
Nothing wrong with that, Ed. Nothing wrong with it.
Horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
Halloween time. We were Halloween. I think that was Halloween.
Every day's Halloween for you, Z. You always scare everybody.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, I scare myself when I look in the mirror.
Never forget, guys, Z had a worm coming out of his neck.
God.
That's Z's neck right there. Look at that.
What even is a worm? Yeah, it's a worm. What even is that?
I don't know. Were you wearing a necklace?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it freaking looks like a worm. God. Well, I guess this guy's just showing the whole album he has me. So
yeah,
you guys might
trying
see.
To find the picture of the Diet Pepsi, guys, before we get home here.
So
if you guys want to fast forward, feel free. It's not gonna bother us. But if you guys want to see him drinking a Diet Pepsi while he always proclaims that he never drinks pop in his life, then stick around.
You guys might see my ass cheeks pretty soon.
Don't feel like getting the video taken down.
Yeah. Well, Ed's not wrong. Sometimes I do eat the same thing on the daily basis, but I mean, I eat breakfast, lunch, dinner every day. I try to, and for some reason, Ed criticizes me for eating breakfast every day. I don't know why.
I don't care that he eats breakfast. The thing is that he thinks everybody should be eating the same exact breakfast he does. Number one. Number two, I've never been a big breakfast person. Number three, the guy just shoves his mouth with food even when he's not hungry.
Yeah. Why don't you stand up and take your shirt off, and then we'll take a look.
Well, why don't you show them that terrible haircut your barber gave you? Look at that.
When did I even send that?
Look at that.
Well, certainly, yeah.
That is miserable. Hold on.
Wasn't the best work. Did somebody take a picture of that for me, or did I take a picture of myself?
Look at that beak.
Yeah.
You took that photo.
Well, this episode's gotten way out of hand. We were talking about free agency, and now we're 11 minutes in, and we're not even on topic yet.
Yep. No, that's what happens. You want to play that game? We're playing that game. There's the Diet Pepsi right there, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, right there. Right.
I took one sip. I took one sip.
You drank the whole can.
Yep.
There's the bald spot. That is on Z's head.
It's been improving.
And that's all you got to know about his health right there. Why am I out of shape?
Where even is that photo? Where did I take that?
You tell me.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh man, that's all you gotta know, Z. It's truly all you gotta know about that. Exposing you right here and there on the podcast, Z.
You're not exposing anything, and you're an absolute fraud, and you look like a Teletubby.
Yeah, I look like Teletubby. You're right. Wait, let's get this free agency. So it's all you guys tuning into the show. We hope that you guys have enjoyed that little segment of exposing Zachariah and seeing who he truly is. So, but appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like, hit the sub, guys. It helps the channel grow. We want to grow the podcast, obviously, and we would love to start going live here, start getting you guys involved. But free agency this year has honestly kind of felt like it hasn't really been the way it has been in previous years. Do you agree with that?
ED.
Yeah, and that calls for removal. So, so Z's in timeout, ladies and gentlemen. He's in timeout. We're gonna talk about free agency here.
Oh man!
I have the power to allow you to be on here,
and I have the power to leave the studio right now.
Yeah, you do. I'll do the show without you.
Yep. God, what a hideous sight that was when you went full screen.
I just tell Jason that.
Ugly yellow shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, well, it's your shirt.
Yeah. Anyways, well,
so free agency this year, Z, as I was saying, this free agency has not that it's been a dud. It just felt like that previous years. There's been it's kind of all happened at one time. Meanwhile, this year it feels like it's been sporadic.
Yeah, no, and the two biggest names, that have been obviously rumored around, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, they haven't even nothing's even been official yet. So,
yeah.
Really outside of those guys, I mean, I'm not saying the other players on the market were piss poor players, but yeah, I mean, just not really anything. And there it is. Oh, looks like I'm on the spot, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what I want.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Nice close-up image zoomed right into that freaking chicken beak. All right, continue.
Show your toenails, then. Show your toenails.
Yeah, show the toenails.
I know you freaking bite them.
Yeah, yeah, I bite them. You're right.
Disgusting.
Continue on, Z. Continue on here.
Real quick, if you guys, if you in the comment section, put a Z in the chat if you clip your nails, or put an N in the chat if you bite them.
Yeah, if I bite them. In elementary school, I bit them, Z. Not anymore.
Yep. Anyways, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not saying the offseason's been boring, but yeah, no, it hasn't. There's not really been any, signings to me that have like really made my jaw drop, and but nonetheless, it's still been entertaining because the NFL offseason is always pretty good.
Well, I think too. I think the people on the market, it wasn't as big as previous.
Years. Oh no.
I mean, if you look at the biggest signings, you have like Derek Carr, Tremaine Edmonds, Jimmy G, Orlando Brown, Javon Hargrave, McGlinchey, Jesse Bates. If there's anybody else out there, but It's not that it's a bad class, but it's just it doesn't really have the groundbreaking names that previous years have had.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, with free agency, really, obviously it's not over, but really with it kind of settling now, let's kind of go over some of the more bigger signings. We'll kind of get our thoughts on those and talk about some signings we don't like, which teams that we think really, whether they took a jump or really just kind of in the right direction, which teams do we think maybe didn't get much better. So, you think Derek Carr to the Saints was the right move? Yeah. Oh, this is why you get called every name in the book. See, I know Finding Nemo is one of your favorite rides.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Do I think Derek Carr to the Saints was the right move?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, I mean they already have a pretty good roster defensively. I mean, I'm not saying they have a perfect roster, but obviously their quarterback situation last year was ass with Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston. So, Derek Carr, who's not the best, not a top 10 quarterback in the league, but he's a lot more stable than those guys are. So, in that weak division in the NFC South, I think that it's got to make the Saints the favorite.
Oh yeah, I think Carolina could be interesting. We'll see what they do at quarterback, but their defense honestly really wasn't bad at all last year, and brought in Frank Reich. They're still looking to bring in some guys offensively. So, brought in Miles Sanders, a running back. It's not a bad move for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, my foot's falling asleep.
Yeah.
All right, so Derek Carr, the Saints, I agree. I think the Saints was the right destination for him. They were the ones that wanted him off the bat. What about Tremaine Edmonds getting a 4-year deal, $72 million from Chicago?
Yeah, that's obviously a lot. It's obviously
nobody else is going to pay him that money except for them.
No, God, no.
It sounds a little desperate to me.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, when you have all that cap space and you're coming off, a very poor season. I mean, anybody on the market, it was just like in Madden, right? When you have all that cap space, you're just going to freaking sign anybody,
Yeah.
I'll never forget Madden 12. There was like a bidding war. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. That was honestly terrible.
Yeah, it was. There was like a timer.
Yeah.
And you would just go from like each position down the, oh God, Madden 12, one of the worst Maddens in
no
history.
player was like making their own decision. It was like if like teams were bidding on the player and then whoever gets the final bid to the last second freaking gets him. That was terrible.
Yeah, it was. It was. What if that was real life? Yeah.
Yeah, you actually you don't have any decision on where you're on or where you're getting paid. And make it interesting. That make it kind of fun.
Yeah.
But that'd be terrible.
No, with the Bears, I think with the Bears, they've certainly had the best off season so far. Not only bringing in Edmonds, but also bringing in TJ Edwards and, bringing in DJ Moore, then getting a shit ton of picks as well. So it's, they've made some phenomenal moves for that roster and for, Justin Fields' development. So, next season's gonna be a big one for the Bears, and especially for that head coach. I can't even think of the coach's name, but
it's what's his name? I know his name. I'm blanking on it. I can't remember.
Well, with everything they've done, and we'll all see what they do in the draft. But I think the Bears have had the best offseason so far in the NFL.
All right, so you think the Bears are the best? What about Javon Hargrave, 4-year, $80 million?
Javon Hargrave is a bit of an overpay, but especially since he's 30 years old. There's a couple different sides to it, right? Well, I'll start on the 49ers side, then I'll get over to the Eagles side. The 49ers side, like Ed and I talked about before, is that this contract just kind of shows that, they are going to be riding with the quarterbacks that they already have on the roster. I know there were rumors about Lamar going there and Aaron going there and Tom Brady going there. But it really just kind of seems like they're going to rock with Brock Purdy or Trey Lance. I know those guys are coming off injuries, big injuries. Maybe that's why they have Sam Darnold's for someone to start camp and preseason for them until one of the other guys return. I think they probably want to start Brock Purdy because Trey Lance hasn't shown anything. But I think bringing in Javon Hargrave just continues to show why the 49ers have, really outside the quarterback position, the most talented roster in the NFL.
Yeah. And they did lose some guys for agency. They lost one of their inside linebackers, Al Shazir, Shire, Al Shire, I think is how you say his name. Jimmy Ward. They lost Jimmy Ward. They lost one of their corners also. But still, they still got a talented team all around. We know they lost their tackle, McGlinchey, but still, they still got a talented team all around. One of the best rosters in the league with some of the best coaching in the league. What about we look at all the amount of guys the Eagles lost. They who knows if Gardner Johnson's going to go back. They've lost Hargrave. Dominican Sue's a free agent. Quinn's a free agent. They've lost Kaiser White, TJ Edwards. Do you think there's any concern there for the Eagles, or do you think it's just kind of like they do have some young guys? They still got Jordan Davis. They got Nakobe Dean, who they drafted last year. So I like if I'm an Eagles fan, like sure, okay, you lost a handful of guys on defense. That's a given though. If you're a Super Bowl team and you got a handful of free agents, they're going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get paid. And you can't pay everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm an Eagles fan, like sure, okay, maybe it might suck to lose a couple guys like that. But they still got guys they drafted last year that are going to step in. They're going to draft guys this year. So I don't know. I'm not really going to view the team like that much worse. Would you?
No, they're not going to drop off that far. No. But I think it's a fair prediction to say right now that Dallas could win the division over them with the moves that Dallas have been making, bringing in Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. Yeah. But yeah, no, to keep on the topic of the Eagles, no, I mean, I think they're fine. I think they'll still win double-digit games next season because, they still, not only do they have the best offensive line in the league, but, they're still going to put up a shit ton of points next season. And, yeah, sure, maybe their defense won't be, like, top 3 like it was. But, I mean, nonetheless, they still brought back, Darius Slay and James Bradbury and, so Jordan Davis, he's a first-round pick. So, I mean, it's a cause for concern losing all those guys. I'm not saying you just disregard it, but I think the Eagles are pretty well built for it more than any team in the league. But I could see the concern. I could see, especially losing your defense coordinator. It's really going to be a full on just kind of revolution for that defense.
Yeah. How do you feel about Sirianni?
Yeah, well. I know a lot of people hate on the guy, like a lot of people, and I was one of them, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't say like
a potato.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I like the guy, but I mean, I think we need more coaches like him in the league, like bringing that kind of energy, that, that arrogance to the sideline. I mean, I kind of like that.
Yeah. Another team that, sticking on the topic of, do you have any type of concern? Do you think they'll still be fine? Is the Bengals. So we see the Bengals are in a position where they're going to have to pay Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is eventually going to have to get paid. T. Higgins is on the last year of his contract. They've signed Orlando Brown Jr. to a big 4-year, how much was that? $64 million. Wait, first of all, before I make any further, what do you think about Orlando Brown going to the Bengals?
It's weird. But
dude, he turned down that huge contract from the Chiefs, like over what was it, like over $120 million?
Yeah, I can't remember the extension they offered him.
It's like a 5-6 year deal worth like 140 million.
Oh, then I don't know why he got less.
He got 64 from the Bengals.
Well,
I think he's a little overrated, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, he's, he was really good on the Ravens. And then obviously, he turned into a freaking crybaby and wanted to play left tackle. Yep. And, yep. But, regardless, I think that's a W signing for the Bengals.
I told he was the future of the Ravens.
Yeah, who said that?
You know who.
Yeah. Yeah, Mo, Malik, we hooping.
Ramey.
Who?
Ramey. You don't know that Ravens fan page?
Ramey.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link of this guy's freaking profile or this guy.
Oh, is that
Twitter.
Ramsey?
No, it's Ramey.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen that one. But
Ramey.
regardless, no, I think that Orlando Brown signing is a solid A signing for them. I mean,
Right.
that's, I think I think the Bengals, if I think part of me would be like, I would look into a trade for T Higgins if you think you cannot extend him. Because like, so you won't be able to extend all those guys, Burrow and Chase, and now Orlando Brown's got a contract. And you just lost Jesse Bates, and I mean, I don't really know too many guys on their defense side of the ball, but like,
well, I'll get into that.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great signing for them, Orlando Brown.
Yeah, I think it is too. And you look at last year for them, like they put in a lot of money in their offensive line, and they were maybe the worst unit in the league.
Yeah. Until the playoffs, they really kind of got going.
Yeah. But Orlando Brown will definitely bring things there. I just think he gives up a lot of pressure. He might not give up a lot of sacks, but I think that he gives up a pressure or a handful a lot of times. And for being a high end left tackle getting that paid, I think to me that I think he might be a little bit, a little overrated. It's not saying that he's still not a good player or anything, but the Bengals, in terms of what I'm saying, Bengals lost Jesse Bates and they lost Von Bell. They lost both their starting safeties. You look at their defense. Let me pull up all their defense here real quick, Z. So I don't miss anybody. Hold on. Okay. So they brought back Jermaine Pratt. They have they did sign Nick Scott, who was a safety. What was he on the Eagles or something?
Rams.
Okay, right. Rams. They did draft Dax Hill last year. Then they still got Mike Hilton there. They got Cam Taylor Britt at one corner. Sam Hubbard still there, Trey Hendrickson. But anyway, do you think their defense took a hit losing Jesse Bates and Von Miller, both their starting safeties?
Not really.
No,
not really. I don't. I think Von Bell's been pretty inconsistent throughout his career. I know he was pretty solid on the Bengals, but I think he's replaceable. And Jesse Bates, quite honestly, the past couple seasons has not been the player that he was. Jesse Bates is a really good safety, but again, I mean, I think bringing in Nick Scott is a pretty solid replacement for, like for Von Bell. You're going to have to find someone that kind of takes up Jesse Bates because although I just said he's been, I feel like his play has been down the last couple seasons. I mean, he's still, having him on the field is more important than anything. So, they're gonna have to find somebody to replace him, but I think they'll do just fine without them.
Well, what about their edge rush?
Their edge rush is fine. It's been fine. Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard are two really good rushers. I mean, two really good edge rushers. I mean, sure, maybe they can add another guy here or there, but I think they have Logan Wilson on the inside linebacker position. I mean, like their defense is not top 10. It's probably not even top 15. But the thing is with the Bengals is that they're going to be a favorite next season, not only for the division but probably for the conference. And as long as their defense probably can stay within that top 20 range, which I think as of right now, it's that could be, you can make a case for it. Then yeah, I mean they'll probably be a great team because that offense is just going to light things up. Again, this guy doesn't say one word.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not really. If I was a Bengals fan, I would just kind of view it as kind of next man up. Draft a Dax Hill, sign somebody to bring in there. They can always maybe add to that corner position, which they might do in the draft. Maybe they could do that. But all right, so with the Bengals, want to get your thoughts on that. Let's go back to the rest of free agency. What are some other, let's see here.
Beep beep.
All right.
Boop boop.
What do you feel about what's the other guy at? Okay. So we kind of talked about guys. Sorry, I was just trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. We talked about Carr. We talked about Hargrave, Edmonds. Talked about some of these bigger guys getting signed. Another guy that got signed, Jimmy G. But honestly, in my opinion, I think it's a terrible contract. I think it's an absolute dreadful contract. Don't understand why you would go from Derek Carr, Jimmy G. Sure, was Derek Carr that good last year? Not really. But you look at everything Derek Carr has done throughout his career. He's a lot better than Jimmy G. Don't care what Colin Cowherd says. A lot better. And Derek Carr has had a new head coach pretty much every single season. He's never really had that good of a defense to help him. And I think Derek Carr has honestly kind of been hurt a little bit in the sense of the Raiders really building around him throughout his tenure there. Would you agree?
I completely agree.
So Jimmy G, 3 years, $70 million, absolutely terrible contract. Do you think they will still take a quarterback in the draft?
Yes.
Who's it going to be?
Who knows? But yeah, but I mean, no, I mean they're just like a ticking time bomb at this point. You know, where I mean like, and obviously they're in Vegas, so they're gonna have a shit ton of money to hand out to anybody. So I'm sure this Jimmy Garoppolo signing doesn't really affect their cap space too much. But I mean, yeah, no, I don't know where that team is heading. You know, from also getting rid of Darren Waller, and I mean, like we haven't even heard of Devontae Adams.
They have zero defense.
Zero defense. Got whatever happened to like Colin Farrell or whatever his name was.
Yeah, he was a bust. He signed with somebody.
Odd.
Gruden.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't really know where that team's going. I like Jimmy G. You know, I think he's a good locker room guy, and I think I also don't think he's that bad of a player, but I mean he also can't really stay healthy, and yeah, no, I'm not really sure what this does for the Raiders next season or even into the future.
Yeah, no, I don't either. It's just I feel like it's a typical Raider thing. If I was a fan, I wouldn't be too quite happy about it.
But give him a chance. Give him a chance. You know, I mean, just give Jimmy G a chance, see what he does. You know, I mean, he took the Niners the NFC Championship game a couple seasons ago. I know it wasn't him. I know they had a great defense and stuff, but still, I mean, he was the quarterback for them.
You think if they win like 6-7 games, McDaniels is gone?
I mean, yeah.
I know that onion's behind there.
I think it was the left eye, and I think it was this one.
It was the left eye. Did we talk about that story on the last podcast or no?
I'm not sure if we did.
Well, if we did or we didn't, who cares? So if you guys heard it already, then you guys can hear it again. But Z does have an onion behind his eye.
A raw onion.
He has a raw onion behind his eye. Freaking City Works, most overrated place to probably eat at. Place his ass. Won't be going back. Anyway,
Ajay was pitching a tent with that server.
Ajay pitching a tent at the freaking waitress. Jeez, that was just she wasn't even doing her job.
I know.
But anyway, I just launched a wrong and right at this guy's eye.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah,
for no reason.
Yeah, for no reason.
Oh well, there's always a reason.
Yep. Things were on the rocks a little bit there that night too.
There were a lot of things going on that night. There
really was. So
yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, that story with that. Z, if you had to give me three teams free agency that you liked a lot and think that it either helped them take a step forward in the right direction or it helped them in the sense get better than what they already were, like the Eagles, for example, like how good of a team they were, and then guys they lost, but like this doesn't really fit that category, but you know what I mean? Like maybe they'll take a little bit of a hit on defense, but they're still gonna be good. So like you like the Bears offseason, you're obviously gonna say them, but like they're still probably not gonna be a playoff team next year. Like they're still trying to figure out their identity. They're still trying to get a group together. They're still trying to build something. And I guess he's going to get removed. So guess I'll be saying my list, guys. Guess I will be saying my list. Meanwhile, Z is removed. I'll be saying my list of the three The
The freaking
oh my
forehead.
gosh. Yep. Yeah, forehead.
Forehead.
Yeah, forehead. Let's take your hat off, Z. Take your hat off.
Yep. Not this episode.
No, not this episode. But what are your three teams, Z, in the sense I got Bears for Z?
Well, the Bears are number one. That's for sure. I've already said it. I've already said about them, so I don't really need to go on. Number two, I think I gotta say the Dolphins. I think so far the biggest move for agency had to be what they did, trading for Jalen Ramsey. So I probably have to say the Miami Dolphins, even though I'm still very skeptical about Tua, not only with his health, but his play. But I mean, yeah, I think you got to throw Miami in there because again, outside the quarterback position, they're probably a top 5 in reference to talent on the team. And if I do number 3, I mean, this can really go to anybody, but go ahead, give me Dallas. Give me Dallas.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think bringing in Brandon Cooks to pair with CeeDee Lamb is pretty solid. I know they cut Ezekiel Elliott, but they don't really need him anymore.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard's really turning into a stud. Dak is Dak. The offensive line seems like for the Cowboys each and every season is really good. And now bringing in Stephon Gilmore to a defense that already has Diggs and shit. Who else? Micah Parsons, Lawrence. I mean, that's they're going to be a great team next season.
Well, are they going to choke next year?
Too early to tell.
All right, so those are your 3. I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction. Not that I disagree with any of those, but I'm going to put Denver into mine. I liked what Denver did with not counting Sean Payton, but still like
they'd be number 4.
That. Yeah, well, I said 3, Z, not 4. So putting Denver in mine, not going to count Sean Payton because that happened before really the offseason, stuff like that. But still, I still think it's going to make an impact on that club. He's brought in his own guys. He's got rid of guys that are already there. He brings a lot of stability. We all know this. But them getting a new tackle, McGlinchey, it's a big signing there for them. Ben Powers at guard. Yeah, look at this guy. Nobody wants to see that nose anyway, Z. That crooked freaking pelican beak.
What am I doing? And I'm listening to you. I should just leave the studio right now. I should. Yeah.
That's what you're doing. Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, again, I can get that stream banned. just remember that every time you want to say something, that stream can absolutely be deleted.
Not worried about it.
All right. So anyway, McGlinchey at tackle, I like. They brought in Ben Powers. You got a big contract from Baltimore. Zach Allen from Arizona. As long as he can stay healthy, he can be a productive defensive lineman for them. And Samaje Perine, not a bad second running back. Second running backs, I think when you look at running backs in the league, I think get overlooked a lot. You said this, Z, before. Even if you have a stud running back, McCaffrey, Henry, Nick Chubb, anything like that, you need someone to offset them. And I think a guy like Perine kind of helped the Bengals with that. So I'm going to put Denver in there, number 1. I'm going to try to do a different list than you did because like I could probably put the Bears in mine too, maybe the Dolphins, but I'm going to try to do a different list. So Denver, let's see who else we got here. Denver, let's go with, hold on. Let's see. Denver, I'm going to say the Giants. I like what the Giants have done. We saw what I was really just impressed with them last year because they really brought back really the same team with their new coach and won 9-10 games, got in the playoffs. They signed Bobby Okereke. I think that's how you pronounce his name, the linebacker from the Colts. He has been someone that I'm sure probably Colts fans probably disappointed to see them lose. They did lose Julian Love, their safety, to Seattle, but they did trade for Darren Waller, which as long as he's healthy, will definitely provide a different look in that offense. They signed Paris Campbell to a 1-year deal, which isn't bad at all. So I still like what they did. They didn't make the big splash moves, but they brought in guys to even better their team overall. And not really sure. I still don't really even know what to think about Daniel Jones because he definitely had the best year of his career last year, but he's still not viewed as a guy of being like the guy for the Giants.
Right.
So I still don't really quite know what to think about him. I think my other winner maybe this free agency. Let me see. Yeah. I think I might say Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina, you look at the NFC South, you have the Saints. Okay. The Saints right now, when you look at everything right now, the Saints are probably the favorite right now. But Carolina, they traded for their first overall pick, which they did get fleeced and they sold a lot. But there's somebody, whoever they're going to take there, they got to absolutely love to sell that much for the first overall pick. So they're going to get a new quarterback. They signed Miles Sanders, who had a really good year last year with the Eagles. I'm still not full in on him, but still he's going to bring something offensively to them. They signed Hayden Hurst, who honestly was pretty good last year for Cincinnati. They signed Von Bell to help out their young defense that's coming up. They did re-sign Bradley Bozeman on a 3-year contract.
Bozeman.
Yeah, the Bose.
That's Ed's least favorite player in the NFL.
He's one of them. He is one of them. But yeah, so I like what they did, bringing in Frank Reich, bringing some offensive mindness to that team, letting Sam Darnold walk and really doing something different about your quarterback position come the draft. I like what they've done. So I'll put them in there. Are they like a top 3 in the sense of like, if I'm making my own list, would I put them as the third? No, but I put them in there because I wanted to have a different list than Z, but I still like their offseason. So I'm going to put them in there. I could put the Steelers in there if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. But I do. And they signed Shai Tuttle, the defense tackle from New Orleans. They gave him a 3-year, $19 million deal. So, they have a defense that's upcoming. They have some new offensive mindness. They're going to get a new quarterback. And still don't think they're done adding. They're interested in Adam Thielen. He can be a guy that at least can maybe help them for a couple years. They'll probably draft a receiver as well. So I kind of like the direction they're going. Now, Z, what are 3 teams that you think took an L this free agency? Just took an absolute L.
Well, the first thing I'm saying is the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a given.
Oh, 100%. Arizona Cardinals. I mean, it's not even. I mean, I'm not even going to explain. So,
yeah,
Arizona Cardinals are number 1. 2, I think I'm going to go with the okay, with 2, I think I'll go with
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. 2, I'm going to say a really random team, but I'm going to go with the Titans because I don't really think they have any kind of guidance where they're trying to go. Isn't Ryan Tannehill still on the roster? Derrick Henry's
Kevin Byard's going to get released.
Yep. I mean, just they're just going downhill, and they
might trade Derrick Henry.
Might trade Kevin Byard. They're 2 best players on the team.
They have no receivers.
No receivers. Good God. And their quarterback situation's awful. So, I mean, Tennessee.
That's a 4-win team next year, Z.
Yeah. They haven't done one thing to help their team out. So I'll go Tennessee. And I think if I choose a 3rd team, I'll go with the I'll go with like the. I don't know, go ahead and give me like Washington or something. Another team that's done absolutely nothing.
Fair enough, Z. Fair enough. I'll give you my 3. I'm going to put the Cardinals in there.
Yep.
I think one of the biggest L's this offseason's got to be the Ravens. The Ravens are one of the biggest L's this offseason.
Here's the reason why I didn't put him in there yet. Here's the reason why I didn't put him in there yet. Is that I would put him in there if Lamar Jackson was already gone. So that could change. If Lamar Jackson leaves, they instantly go in the top 3.
Yeah.
But the reason why I didn't put him in there, it's not only because of the Lamar Jackson situation, with it being undecided, but also I think all the other teams that I just named, I think the Ravens are a lot more talented than those teams, so they didn't have
Well,
to
and
make.
that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'm not talking about talent. I'm just talking about in the sense of what needed to be done. Because, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Steelers fan. I respect the Ravens. Do I like them? No, but I respect them. I think that they're a well-ran franchise. Think they have stability. I think John needs fired, but I do. So if anybody's seeing this and is like, "Oh, Steeler fan," there doesn't have anything to do with that. I think the Ravens have taken an L this offseason because, one, the Lamar situation is not resolved, whether
Yeah.
he would get re-signed or whether they would get draft picks for him.
Yeah.
Number two, they haven't done anything. They
Yeah.
haven't done anything. They lost Ben Powers. They got rid of Chuck Clark, which was a given, so I'm not really saying that's like a big deal. But still, they haven't done anything at wide receiver. They have had the worst offensive receiving core in the league probably the last 2 years. They haven't done anything about that. Marcus Peters free agent, so they still could sign him. But you look at defensive line, you look at the edge situation, nothing's been done there. They got rid of Calais Campbell. And you know me, Z, like I've been a guy that's been an advocate in the sense that I feel like the Ravens need to take a step forward with their pass rush. I think they need to solidify that better. And you can't just be relying on the Bowsers and the guys that are the third, the fourth round picks and having rotational guys and the Houstons and the JPPs. You can't be doing that. And I think that's a big thing for them in this offseason, even going to the draft with edge. You look at a guy like Odafe Oweh, who I heard he was a second coming in his first season, and this year he was awful. So I don't really think any Ravens fan likes him right now. But still, like I think they've taken a big L. I've taken the big L. So Ravens, I'm gonna put at number 2. And number 3, who is the other team? Oh yeah, the Raiders. I'm gonna put the Raiders in there. Absolutely. Defense is terrible. They gave Jimmy G a terrible contract. Trade away Darren Waller for nothing. The offensive line still isn't really that great. So I'm gonna give it to the Raiders. Those are my 3 L's this season.
Do the Raiders still have Richie Incognito?
I'm sure they wish they did.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, those are our 3 winners, 3 losers of free agency so far. Z, do you think as a Ravens fan, do you agree that you give them an F of a grade?
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah.
Are you confident with where they're at going forward?
Not until they re-sign Lamar.
Okay, so if they re-sign, if they re-sign the guy with the terrible hair, do you? It's really. Let me put it this way: if they re-sign him, do you see them doing really ultimately anything outside of the draft?
I would say yeah. I don't know
Anything
what.
in the sense that can take them to the next level.
Probably not. No.
Okay. So if they re-sign Lamar, you think they're pretty much gonna be the same team they've been the last year or 2?
Yeah, but then all this varies down to, is Lamar going to miss the final 8 games of the season again?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think right now I think the Ravens are slightly ahead of Cleveland.
Yeah.
So I give their offseason F. You give their offseason an F.
Yep. I don't care about re-signing Justice Hill.
Yeah.
I don't care about
Trayvon Mullen.
Yeah, Trayvon Mullen. Who else they re-signed? Long snapper Nick Moore.
Yeah.
Geno Stone at safety. Yawn. Yawn.
Nothing's happening, Z. Nothing's happening.
So I mean, give us some excitement. Re-sign Lamar, sign Odell, draft a pass rush in the first round, and then bring some more freaking energy to the team.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. Do you think Calais Campbell goes back?
It's a little bit too early to decide, but I think as of right now, I would say it's like 50-50.
All right, fair enough. So, would you be surprised? Do you think the Ravens could possibly take a receiver in the first round?
Oh, 100%.
So Smith and Jigba, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, those are probably the 3 that are going to go in the first round. It's not really a strong receiver class. Now, once you start kind of getting in like the middle round, you'll kind of have a handful of guys, but early on,
because the Ravens don't have a second round pick.
Yeah, so then there's that too.
Yeah.
Oh, Ravens get an F.
Yep.
We talked about this last night. I give the Steelers an A- on free agency, and I think you agreed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We look at what the Steelers moves. We looked at, and we're not going to go too in depth about it and make this episode longer. We're going to kind of cut it short here in just a few minutes. I'll make an episode of this on my own. But you look at what they've done. They re-signed DeMonte Casey. They re-signed Larry Ogunjobi. They signed Pat Pete. They signed Nate Herberg, who started 11 games for the Jets last year and started for the Eagles the year before. They also signed Isaac Salamoto. How you? Let me go to his name.
I know.
I hard time pronouncing this guy's name.
Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, last night they signed. Yeah, I if I had pronounced it, I think it's gonna be. I think it's Suamalo. I think that if I'm pronouncing that way, Isaac Suamalo, the guard from the Eagles, he's been there he started all 17 games for them. He's been a pretty lockdown guy on their line over however many years he's been there for.
And the thing is that he's a solid player, but we're really good kind of see the reason why he didn't get a bigger contract than what he did, being on the best offensive line in the NFL, being reliable and actually playing, that's big, right? But the reason why he didn't get a bigger contract than probably maybe some people would anticipate, I'm sure it's a lot easier. Is he a right guard or left guard?
Plays both. Okay,
well, I'm sure he's going to be tested a little bit. Right, so he's going to go from Jason Kelce at center to Mason Cole, and then he's going to go from either Lane Johnson or I can never pronounce the left tackle's name for the Eagles, but those are two top tackles in the league, to what the Steelers have at tackle. Dan Moore,
Well, Dan Moore is not going to be their tackle next year. They're going to draft one.
Thank God. So
they're going to draft one with their 17th or the 32nd pick. There's 5 tackles in the draft that can be first round guys.
So the thing is that one, you want to sign somebody who is reliable on the offensive line. That's big. So that's the first thing, right? 2, but he's a solid player. We're really going to kind of see how good he is when he's not kind of surrounded by those all pro guys. So we're going to see how he does, but nonetheless, I think it's a really good signing to that offensive line.
Well, it is. So the thing is that if you're a team like the Steelers, who has had offensive line problems the last 3 years, if you're able to sign a guy that has been a solidified lineman, whatever position it would be, and even if you're on a good line, the thing is that even though you're surrounded with those guys, you're the one still performing. You're the one still being one of the highest rated run blocking guards in the league, only giving up 17 pressures and 1 sack. And so, yeah, when you look at the Steelers line compared to the Eagles line, obviously the Eagles line has been one that has been built through the draft and obviously has flourished the way it is. Steelers have James Daniels at guard, who they gave a pretty decent contract to last offseason, had a really good year. Mason Cole is fine at center. Is he an elite center? No, he's not, but they don't need an elite player at every position on the line. Chuck Okorafor, he's decent at right tackle. He's not special. He's not bad. He's not that great, but he's just an average right tackle. You put in Salamalo there, or Suamalo there, however you pronounce the name, and then Dan Moore is their left tackle right now. He's not going to be. They're going to draft one of those 5
tackles. Fix that, please.
Yeah,
please fix that.
They really are. They're going to take one at 17 or 32. So it's just going to depend who they value more than the other, who's there, et cetera, et cetera. But the Steelers, with what they're doing with their line, is what they've known this. But the thing is, they've neglected really drafting the line in the last few years. And we saw with James Daniels signing last year, okay, Mason Cole was fine for them last year. And now they're signing the guard from the Eagles to be their starter. they're doing what has needed to be done. And I think every fan is pretty excited about their signing from last night, bringing in Isaac. I'm just going to call him Isaac because I know I'm not saying his name right.
Mm-hmm.
But don't think there's one fan out there that's displeased with that move. And then you go draft a tackle in the first round. That's a much better offensive line than what you've had over the last 3 years. And their offensive line last year really wasn't as bad as maybe what some people think. It started off like preseason was really bad, but early on in the year, they were the best thing about the offense. And as the season went on, the second half of the year, they really started getting better and better. And you saw how well they were able to run the ball the second half of the season. So seems like they're really kind of hammering down being able to, of having running the ball a big focal point of their offense. But I think this is my favorite signing so far for them this offseason. So moving on from the guard, we know they signed Cole Holcomb and they signed Landon Roberts, 2 inside linebackers. They revamped their whole entire inside linebacking group, which was needed. Devin Bush was a free agent. And it sucks with Devin Bush because Devin Bush was really good his rookie year. He had a really nice rookie year. I believe he finished top 5 in defensive rookie of the year voting. He was having a good second season up until he tore his ACL. And then his third year and last year, he was just never the player. And I think that that's just how he's going to be. Sometimes it happens to athletes where they're just not the same. I think his mindset kind of sucked, to be honest. He just seemed like a guy that was content and like, oh, I'm going to be in the league. I'm getting paid, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, then enjoy playing for 6, 7 different teams. So, but it needed to happen. Miles Jack wasn't really the guy they hoped that they were getting last year. He ended up getting benched toward the end of the season. They cut him. Robert Spillane got a bigger contract with the Raiders. So they bring in Cole Holcomb, who has been a guy with Washington for the last 4 years. One of their defensive captains, play caller out on defense. And then Atlanta Roberts as well with the Dolphins, who was defensive captain last year. Both of them had pretty good seasons if you're looking at it statistically. But the thing is about both, they both love to hit. They're not afraid of contact. And that's something the Steelers inside linebackers struggled a lot with, getting off blocks. They're afraid of contact. They weren't tackling well. And that's something that needed to be done. So, not that those two guys are blockbusters. Those two guys aren't Pro Bowl type guys, but those are still guys that are going to bring a difference to that group. And then who else am I missing? They signed, the 2 linemen, Pat Pete, Kazi, Ogunjobi.
The other offensive lineman.
Yeah, Herbert. That's what I said. 2 offensive linemen, Pat Pete, Ogunjobi, Kazi, the 2 inside linebackers. I think that's it, right? I think that's it so far. So I give them an A-, not because I'm a Steeler fan. Like, I will say what needs to be said and stuff like that, but I give them an A- simply just because I think they upgraded and multiple positions, and I think that they're using their money really well. And sure, losing Cam Sutton kind of sucked, but they were able to use that money elsewhere. And I still think that they're not going to be quite done. I still think that they're still interested in Bud Dupree. They could always Terrell Edmonds. Who knows what's going to happen with him if they're going to bring him back? If they still might be in the market for another safety, I don't really quite know. But I've been pleased with their offseason. They've been active, more active last year, and their new management, Omar Khan, Andy Weidel, who came from the Eagles, they're already putting their blueprint on everything. So they're doing things a little bit a different way than what the Steelers are accustomed to, which is nice. They're being aggressive, which I hope they were going to be. So I'll take it.
And especially if you have the 17th and 32nd pick, take advantage of those two as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got Chase Claypool for pretty much a first round pick.
Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah. Because the 32nd pick is going to be a second round pick because the Dolphins had to forfeit their pick because the freaking Brian Flores crap.
Right.
So Claypool for first. Oh man. So yeah. So Z, would you put the Steelers in a winner category for this offseason?
Oh no, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm excited to see what Pat Pete does. He's going to be 33, but I've always said, like, I don't really care what your age is. If you're still playing at a high level and you can bring something to whatever team you're on, I don't care how old you are. I really don't. And the Steelers, the other thing too, Pat Pete, Atlanta Roberts, and Cole Holcomb were all defensive captains on their teams. And that's something the Steelers have needed. Like, sure, they got Cam Hayward, they got TJ Watt, but they've really have needed leadership because they're still a younger squad. they still like they got youth on their side. So bringing in guys like that, where Holcomb's only 26, Roberts is 28, sure Pat Pete's 33, but those are defensive leaders. And pairing that with Cam, TJ Watt, I guess Minka, I don't really know how much of a leader he ultimately is in that locker room. I know he's respected and stuff like that, but he's not a captain on the team, so I'm not really quite sure.
Highsmith.
Yeah, you still got Highsmith, so I don't really know what they're going to do with him. Are they going to extend him over the summer either? That will be something that time tells over time. Don't quite know. But I like the position they're in. They won 9 games last year in a quote-unquote rebuilding year. No one really quite knew how good they were going to be last year. And then we saw the really bad start in the first half of the season, and they finished the season 7-2. And that's what you want. If you're a fan, organization, team, that's the way you want to finish. They're 1 game out of a playoff spot. So they kind of knew what they had. They went in free agency, put their pedal to the metal, have been aggressive than they have in years past. And we're seeing that. So I don't think they're quite done, and we'll see what they do in the draft. But I think that they can definitely take a leap forward than where they were last year.
Yeah. No, I mean, I really like their defensive personnel. Everybody we just named, and I think their offense, which is a very young offense, from Najee to Freiermuth to Deontay to Pickens and even Calvin Austin. I mean, but at the same time, or even Kenny Pickett as well. But at the same time, they're handing out contracts for the right value. Not overpaying anybody. Signing guys for really probably what they're worth. And I mean, you just look at all of them. I mean, what's up with them? Signing these veteran cornerbacks. From Joe Hayden to Patrick Peterson. So
well, when they signed Joe Hayden, he was only 27.
Okay, yeah, I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah, so he was 27 because they signed him to a 3-year deal, and then they gave him the extension, and then that's when he was last year when he was 32. Nobody was ultimately interested. He retired.
Yeah.
Well, so he got 2 contracts with the Steelers.
Yeah. Again, they're going to be pretty similar probably to the Niners in a way, where, it seems like their team might be all set in place and they're going to add some more pieces through free agency and, of course, the draft. Yeah. But we all know what this is going to come down to. It's going to come down to the development of Kenny Pickett.
Well, that's the big thing. And I think when you look at him last year, he wasn't put in an ideal spot, man. He wasn't. I think they should have started him. Don't you agree? They should have started him week 1.
Oh, 100%.
They decided to start freaking Mitch, and it didn't work out. They throw Kenny into the Jets game that they ultimately lose, I think, by 1. I think they lost by 1 or something like that. That they ultimately lose, and then they go on to face the Bills and Tampa, Miami, and Philadelphia. That's a tough 4-game stretch that you are having a rookie quarterback start in for the first time that hasn't gotten first-team reps or anything like that. And they go 1-3 throughout that, hit the bye. So, yeah, it was a tough stretch, and I think really every fan kind of probably thought it was going to be. And but when you look in the second half of the season, the bye week, that's what was most important for Kenny. And he finished the season 7-2. He didn't throw too many touchdowns. I think he had a 4-to-1 ratio throughout those last games. But they still had their offense still had struggles. The red zone was a big struggle. Play calling was a hindrance. They're bringing back Canada, which is still concerning to me, but we'll see if we'll see what happens on that. But you saw Kenny getting better each week. You saw him getting better each week. The defense was back to kind of being healthy. The offensive line was getting a lot better. They're running the ball so much better. They could not run the ball at all. And you saw how good Najee Harris and Jalen Warren were together. So I think that when you look at Kenny from last year, you got to look at the second half of the year after the bye week and look at what he did. And that should encourage every Steeler fan. And that's what the organization has said. So they're doing the things in place in the sense of trying to get that offensive line better than where it was last year, which they've done. And they're probably going to do through the draft as well, probably drafting a left tackle. He's got offensive guys around him, and he's got a pretty darn good defense still. So that is definitely the biggest thing, is him taking that step in the right direction. And hopefully he does. But the thing with Steelers defense is that you look at like 2019, 2020, really good. The last 2 years have been disappointing. And last year they got a lot better as the season like went on once TJ Watt came back. But still, you can't just have one guy. If one guy's not there, then you just implode. You can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully with really some of the things they've done this offseason, and if they continue to do that, will really kind of help, if somebody goes down, or just to kind of strengthen out the defense as a whole. But it helps them because they're not paying a quarterback right now.
Right.
So that's kind of the thing. And that's the thing. Like when we had Ben and we were paying him, like, they didn't really go out and do a whole lot.
Right.
And that was kind of hard. That's why their defenses a lot of those years were bad. Ross Cockrell, Antoine Blake, Will Allen, Jarvis Jones, Steve McLendon. Oh, it's terrible.
Tyson Alualu.
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, it was.
So, but yeah. So anyway, Z's not pleased with the Ravens off season. I've been pretty pleased with Steelers off season. Those are our kind of top three in terms of 3 winners, 3 losers that we talked about. And really just kind of giving our thoughts on some of these contracts. So really at the end of the day, has the offseason been fun? Yeah, kind of. There's still some things that got to happen, but it hasn't really been what has been before, which I feel like it's kind of been a little bit of a letdown, but it is what it is. So we'll end it there, Z. We'll end it there. We're an hour 7 in.
Mm-hmm.
Again, going longer than we thought. Got 10 minutes to get ready here.
Yep.
But any final words, Z? Any final words for the crowd? Real quick, just want to say, guys, if you want to follow my other YouTube channel, In Hindsight, you guys can do that. It's just really all sports, talking about stuff from the Steelers, which is kind of really the hot topic right now. But I'll be talking about Pirates, be talking about NBA playoffs as those kind of get going on eventually and stuff like that. So if you're into that, feel free to tune over there. I try to post when I can. Sometimes I do live, sometimes I do normal recordings. So hit the subscribe on that. If you guys feel free, hit the sub here, hit the like here, guys. We appreciate you tuning in to episode 6 here. Z, what do you have to say?
Not much to say today. Not much to say. Not much to say.
Well, this will be up sometime today. This will be up sometime today, guys. So I'm not really sure what time, but if I didn't have to work today, it would be up a lot earlier than it's going to be. Could be midnight, could be 11, could be 10. Not sure.
It could just not be up at all.
It could be tomorrow, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be up tomorrow.
Well, that's on you, and that's on you.
Yeah, so we'll see, Z. But you have nothing else to say?
Nothing to say.
Nothing to say. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna leave it there, and we will be back sometime this week.
Baby,
so,
boo boo, baby, boo bop.
Yep.
Dee 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 doo.
And that's all I have to say, guys. So we will see you next time.